May all beings always have happiness and its causes. May all beings always be free of pain and its causes. May all beings always be pain-free and live happily. May no beings ever cling to those near nor spurn those far. For as long as space abides, as long as the world remains, just so long may I be there, resolving all beings' pain. In three real jewels, three root bliss-filled ones, channels, winds, bright orbs, this Bodhi mine, essence, nature, moving love mandal, until full Bodhi I seek refuge. Kunchuk sum ngodeshe sawasum, salun tigle ranjin chanchup sam, Ngo ranjin tuje king korla, chanchup ning badu kapsu chi. In three real jewels, three root bliss-filled ones, channels, winds, bright orbs, is Bodhi mine, essence, nature, moving love mandal, until full Bodhi I seek refuge. Oh, like moons in water, sights deceive us. We ever roam bound in cyclic chains, so all may rest in their clear mind sphere. I raise Bodhi through four boundless states. O natsak nawa chure junji ki, korwa lugu gyude kambedro, rang regu sa ying so nel suchir, seme ji yin ane semke do. Oh, like moons in water, sights deceive us. We ever roam bound in cyclic chains, so all may rest in their clear mind sphere. I raise Bodhi through four boundless states.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Harvey Aronson. I'm one of the founding resident teachers of Dawn Mountain. Our physical location is in Houston, Texas, which is where you see all the people gathered for meditation. Just a little bit of housekeeping. If you're new to our broadcast and you feel comfortable sharing your email address, we would so appreciate getting that in the chat so we can send you our newsletter, which would inform you of all the diverse activities that we have going on. So that's up to you, but we would welcome that. We will be doing two types of simple meditation. One is simple mindfulness of the breathing, which is common to many, many of the Buddhist traditions. And we cultivate mindfulness of the breathing to develop attention. It turns out if we are present with attention, there is also a settling effect. One of the upsides of cultivating attention is that when done regularly, it can create a bit of space in our reactivity. Most of us are beset by reactivity that leads us to do one of three major reactive patterns, namely fight, flee, or freeze. So, if we look at ourselves and we just consider when we get upset, what do? Most of us either lash out, we withdraw, or we just kind of shut down. And in the reading that we do later, there's a little bit of allusion to judgment. Judgment is a kind of mild form of fighting. Judgment of self, judgment of others. You're bad. I'm good. You're good. It's kind of a distancing mechanism. It's a way of pushing kind of the judger away from the judged. In some ways, it's, especially when it's negative judgment, it's animated by not wanting to feel some kind of disappointment, loss, absence of connection with another person. We go into reactivity and we say things like you're a bad person or you're a crazy person. We go into judgment. We push people away with our judgments. We push ourselves away from ourselves with our own judgments of ourself. We really want to start feeling disconnected, get into a bout of self-criticism. But actually feeling what's going on can open us up to presence, and presence can also open up our hearts. So doing something like mindfulness of breathing is moving us into the present with our experience, moving us out of the chit-chat, identifying with the chit-chat mind, and letting us be. The other major meditation that we do is taught to us by Adzom Pela Rinpoche, our teacher who's currently in Tibet. It's very, very simple. We chant the syllable Ung twice. Ung, Ung. We place our attention on breathing, sounding, hearing, again, uniting our attention with the breathing, sounding, and hearing, and letting go of our ordinary chit-chat mind. In both cases, if our chit-chat mind is just going on, but we're not lost in it, it's okay. We're either meditating on our breath or meditating on chanting Hung twice with one breath. If we notice that we've gotten completely lost in a story of the past, story of the future, story of the great plans that we have for our lives, either in the next day or the next 20 years, we all do it. Once we are blessed with a moment of recognition, I'm lost. That moment of recognition is actually a mini awakening. I'm kind of daydreaming, planning. It's really an awakening. You're having a moment of clarity. And with that clarity, if it helps you, you can just sort of say thinking, or planning, or imagining, just to put a really quick and clear pause on what you've been doing. And you bring it back to the experience of the breath. You can notice the breath at the ring of the nostrils. You can notice it in the throat. You can notice it in the chest. The process of breathing really extends all the way down to the belly. The energy of breathing extends all the way down into the belly. There is a particular energetic spot that in Japanese practice, it's called the hara. In Chinese practice, it's called dangtian. In Sufi practice, it's called the kath. In Tibetan practice, it's called the do. It's a little spot, 3 or 4 finger widths below the navel, 3 or 4 finger widths within the body. It's an energetic center. And if you wish, you can either notice the breath coming down, the energy of the breath coming down to the dough and then going up from the dough. It's one way of doing it. Another way is to actually sense the dough. And as you're breathing, just notice the sensations in that area. For some people, that's relatively easy and clear. For some, it's not that easy and clear. For our purposes, you can choose what is most evident to notice the sensation of the process of breathing and place and rest your attention in that process to the point where that is absorbing all of your attention. As I say, if there happens to be some side chatter or imaginings, it's fine. Just let them be. The main focus be the sensation of the breath, and then we'll do some chanting of Hong Hong. I forgot to get myself a bell, so I'll just probably announce when there'll be breaks. Are there any questions about the process that we're going to engage in? Good to see everybody this morning. So we will start. So if you're seated on the floor, just make sure you're seated comfortably. And you want your back to be straight, but not stiff. And we notice that if we tuck our chin in a little bit, it elongates our neck. And if you want, you can have either your eyes closed or if they're open, soft focus, looking down about 3 feet in front of you. And just notice the process of breathing, either at the ring of your nostrils, your throat, your chest, or if you like, following the breath to the dough and then up out of that area process, or just resting just below the navel, 3 or 4 finger widths, 3 or 4 finger widths within the body. The important thing is we're actually sensing the experience of the breath. This is an actual kinesthetic, somatic sensing. The breath may be very subtle, almost like a feather touching your skin. We will now shift over to doing the chanting. It's a syllable hum, which is the embodiment, manifestation of deep wisdom. We chant the syllable twice, hum, hum. We appreciate if people who are online unmute, so we actually have greater volume to our sound. This is done actually quite vigorously. You're not whispering, you're actually belting it out. And the attention is on the sound, hearing it, making it, putting all of our focus into it. And again, if there happens to be some thoughts or images or memories coming up, just let them come and go. If you get lost, just attentively bring your attention back to the chanting. Om, Om, return to mindfulness of the breath, focusing on the process of breathing, the nostrils, the throat, the lungs, the process going down into the belly, locating ourselves at the dough, if we like, 3 finger widths below the navel, 3 or 4 finger widths from the skin inside. Just noticing the process of the breath and resting in that process, sensing it. And gently let yourself end your mindfulness of the breath for the moment. So as we cultivate meditation, mindfulness, in our tradition, it's considered virtuous. And we have the idea that we can take whatever virtue that we cultivate it and not only have it as our own virtue, but that we can share virtue and the benefit of what we've done for others, those who are sick, those who have recently passed, those who are in need, or just people we know who we'd like to share our merit with. And so physically at Dawn Mountain, we pass around a book within which people write down names that they would like recollected at the end of our service. And virtually, you can put the names of individuals you would like us to call to mind. We will maybe we'll have Paul both read the book and see what names there are on the chat. And Paul, if you're game, you'll read the book. Not now, at the end. And the names in the chat. But before all of that, we do a reading out of Pema Chodron's Comfortable with Uncertainty. Should get the fuzz off of my Comfortable with Uncertainty. It's actually both a very simple and very profound work. I think we're at segment 61. Correct me if I'm wrong, Emily. It's called Widening the Circle of Compassion. It's daring not to shut anyone out of our hearts, not to make anyone an enemy. We begin to live like this, we'll find that we actually can't define someone as completely right or completely wrong anymore. Life is more slippery and playful than that. Trying to find absolute rights and wrongs is a trick we play on ourselves to feel secure and comfortable. Compassionate action, being there for others, being able to act and speak in a way that communicates, begins with noticing where we start to make ourselves right or to make ourselves wrong. At that particular point, we could just contemplate the fact that there is an alternative to either of those, which is bodhicitta. This tender, shaky place, if we can touch it, will help us train in opening further to whatever we feel, to open further rather than shut down more. We'll find that as we begin to commit ourselves to the practice of Donglen, as we begin to celebrate aspects of ourselves that we found so impossible before, something will shift permanently in us. Our ancient habitual patterns will begin to soften, and we'll begin to see the faces and hear the words of people who are talking to us. As we learn to have compassion for ourselves, the circle of compassion, what and whom we can work with, and how it expands. So I think very profound. I think that when we are vulnerable and unaware, we often go into making others wrong and making ourselves right, rather than feel something that may be uncomfortable. And learning to be with our feelings, having a tender, open heart towards our experience, and recognizing that whatever it is that we are experiencing is shared by all beings is very, very expanding. For those of you who weren't here for the first half hour of our teaching Sunday, first Sunday of the month, Kaisu gave a wonderful talk on bears and how, in effect, we have distanced ourselves from bears and all other animals by the posture we adopt of kind of the internal emotional posture is distance and being above, being higher than animals. And that creates a big separation, and a lot follows from that. But we do that with others, and we do that with ourselves. But anybody have any reactions and or considerations they want to share based on either what Kaisu shared or what Pema Chodron brought to mind? Don't be bashful.
I can share that. I don't know if you can see me. I can share that I remember in business school they talked about before doing an interview to take this posture in the bathroom of like the superhero posture to build confidence because they've shown in science that it builds confidence. And I hadn't thought about that posture in relation to animals and yes, asserting dominance over cats and dogs. And it made me think a little bit about practicing prostrations in front of cats and small dogs, especially the small dog I'm thinking of, I know will give me a lot of kisses. But I really hadn't made that connection to the psychology and then our interaction with animals around us. So thank you, Kaisu, for that. And I have a lot of friends who are taxidermists too. And I had thought about the artistry in how they pose the animals, but I had not, again, thought about what it communicates. And so thank you, Kaisu.
Yeah, this one is very influential for me, being both a person who's done martial arts their entire life and worked with animals and nature their entire life. I work in conservation and education. I also teach martial arts, and so a lot of that is posture, whether that's how to stand or how to have a posture that you can escape with easily or a posture you can attack with easily. In Japan, they talk about even posture of the eyes and how changing the eyes from aggressive to submissive eyes can confuse people. And also, when I teach people to be out in nature, I like to remind that when we're little, like 5 or 6 years old, we can't help but move slower than those around us because our legs are too short. And we can't help but look up at the nature and animals around us because we are physically smaller than them. So there's this sense of wonder of being a child, of looking up at a dog, or looking eye level with a cat, or seeing all these squirrels up in the trees above you looking down at you, that we tend to lose once we get up above everything, above it all. And so while it might not be martial arts related, I will take people into posture in nature to get on their knees and look, because simply going slower and lower will bring a lot of wonder back into the world. So I found a lot of that echoed in what Kaisu was saying, and it was so wonderful to put it in that position, having spent so much time of my life in posture. And I do find that even sitting in meditative postures can start to change how we see the world and think. So yeah, juicy, juicy stuff. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Hmm.
Well, I keep thinking about the bear, taking a bath on the river and being happy. Thank you, Kaisu. I just have a connection of how important it is to cast our vote just for compassion. Casting or not casting our vote affects animals like your beautiful bear and humans. And I just remember how the orange candidate who used to be a president, he allowed animal trophies to be allowed in the country. That day, it was a kind of sad day for me because the communities that are doing that in those countries, sometimes they don't have resources, financial resources, and they're being pushed to do something that maybe they don't want to, right? Who's beneficiating from that? Maybe people who have a lot of money in some of our countries. So I don't know, Kaisu, thank you. You just made me feel that not casting your vote or casting your vote makes a big difference in the whole planet. Thank you, Kaisu.
Thank you. And yes, David.
Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Thank you, Kaistu. I live in a place called Haida Gwaii off the north coast of British Columbia. Um, Lots of bears here, the largest black bears in the world. And I regularly walk a trail to a cabin that I have, and it's overgrown, and it's and like really tightly overgrown in spots. And the last, I think it's yesterday, there was a new fresh pile of bear poop on the trail. And it's like you're in my world now, Granny. Like there's this suddenly there's this presence. There's somebody else here. Do I want to see this beautiful creature, probably not just now in this particular overgrown section. I'd rather wait till I get to an open field. But the appreciation, Kaisu, to see colonialism extended to the animal world. I've never felt that or actually intellectually got that before. It's wonderful. So I just thank you for this opportunity to rethink myself as a biped walking through the woods. Thank you.
Thank you all. So let's just do a little bit of returning to, we'll do a bit of a Oreo cookie of meditation. We'll do a little silent, a little chanting, and a little silent, but all of it quite brief. So again, bring your attention to the breath. Just sense it gently. You're not working hard. And then chanting the syllable home, home twice with each breath. All attention on the sound, the process, mind and sound are united and listened to. Om, 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 om,
Om.
om. And we return to silent meditation. And we can slowly turn our attention to the space that we're in, and we will do our concluding prayers. Those can be posted. And Paul, please lead.
By this good may I swiftly once become a great guru, lead all beings, everyone, to reach to that very ground. With all of you in mind, we light this lamp of clarity. May the glow of love, wisdom shine within us, everyone, till we all rise forth born in one enlightened mandala.
And if Paul, you can read the book, and then the chat can be posted, and you can read that as well.
Camachos, Andrew, Dion's, Louis, Ben, Gaza, Kamala Harris, Beats, Tien, Marco, Aston and Baby, Daniel, Barb, Ruth Ann, Sybil, Ashley, Aisha, Thomas, Joaller, Dean, Elena, Keon, Gary, Boffelli, Junior and Bardo, Sylvia, Rolando, Nathaniel, Emma, Noah, Penny, Liath, Ed, Dr. Zhao in Bardo, Dr. Young, Faye, Padma, James, Mel, Chung in Bardo, Mel Chung in Bardo, John, Mayel in Bardo, Rosa, Diana, Bobby, Melissa, John, Kay, Keith, Sarah, Anna Sullivan, Lynn Pinkerton, Megan and Connor, Sydney in Remembrance, Anja, June, Galena, Surabhi, Rebecca, teachers, Sangha, all suffering animals, Jean, Bev, Santoff, healing relationships of siblings, the chat. Okay. I think that's all the names.
Oh, okay. So we will do one ah, opening our hearts with light. If you can see the syllable A or the Tibetan syllable ah, we send light through our body to everyone around us, to everyone on this planet, especially those both committing acts of atrocity and those who are victims of acts of atrocity. We wish kindness to all beings with our ah. Just some brief announcements. For those of you who are at Dawn Mountain, you are going to have a delicious Sunday lunch that we're missing. Coming up this coming Tuesday, we have the first Tuesday of the month, be a teaching Tuesday, and we're looking at developing discerning wisdom in our everyday experience. And come September 8th, we will have a welcome event. Anybody who's interested in what's happening at Dawn Mountain, please come either online or in person. We'll start at about 12:15, and we'll be talking about what we're about and what programs we're offering. If you have friends who might be interested, please bring them along. Emily, is there anything else to announce?
Yes, so September 19th, we're going to have a special free program called Buddhism in 4 Words. There's going to be at least 4 sessions that you'll have to wait and hear the dates going forward in the future. But each session will be on one word in Buddhism. I believe the first one is the word Buddha. So that's
Correct.
going to be a really great introductory series to go word by word, and the event's about an hour long. That's the 19th. On the 24th, we're having another special event that is free, that is all about the practices we do here at Dawn Mountain. and how they connect together. So in Tibetan Buddhism, there are many, many practices. It can be overwhelming. We teach some of them, we sort of focus on some, and Nathaniel and our lamas will discuss the practices that we are learning here at Dawn Mountain and how they connect together in hopes of answering some questions and some confusion. So we also have the next phase of Nundro starts August 19th. That's a self-paced course. And September 20th through the 22nd, we have a weekend retreat on Severance Je. And I think that's it. So thank you, everybody. And
Lovely.
we have a wonderful mushroom risotto. If you're here, please
I'm
eat with us.
hungry.
It's free. It's a
Lovely to
free
see.
meal. Sorry.
Yeah. It's lovely to see everybody. Everybody stay well, be well. May peace prevail. Look forward to seeing you on Tuesday night if possible. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much, Kaisu.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I guess you can go ahead and leave.